All right, get ready to dive into some real-world IT scenarios.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Azure Active Directory and Microsoft 365 Admin Center.
The tools that keep businesses running smoothly and data secure.
Absolutely. We'll unpack 10 practical situations that IT pros face all the time.
Let's kick things off with something everyone's probably experienced. Suspicious login attempts.
Okay.
Imagine this. Alex gets a notification that someone's trying to get into their Office 365 account.
And it's from some random location, like a remote island in the Pacific.
Right, and Alex hasn't been near a beach for ages, so naturally they freak out a bit.
Makes sense.
Where do we even begin to figure this out?
Well, the first thing you always need is information.
Oh,
Go to the Azure AD portal, go to
Okay.
the users section, and then sign-ins.
got it.
Now you can play detective, look at Alex's account for any red flags.
Like what?
Unfamiliar IP addresses, attempts to log in from a device they don't own, anything that seems off.
So it's like checking the security camera footage after the alarm goes off.
Ex
We're looking for clues to understand what went down.
Yep.
But let's say the logs confirm our suspicions. Someone really is snooping around.
Time for damage control then.
What do we do?
Immediately force a password reset for Alex's account.
That makes sense. Cuts off access for whoever's trying to break in.
And while you're at it, enable multi-factor authentication or MFA on their account.
Okay, so it's like adding a second lock on the door.
Exactly. Even if they get the first key, the password.
They still need another to get in.
Right.
That's a great analogy.
I try.
But doesn't MFA get a bad rap sometimes for being a bit of a hassle?
Yeah, some users see it as an extra step,
Right.
but the security benefits outweigh that small inconvenience.
Especially now with password breaches happening all the time.
Totally. MFA adds that extra layer of defense that makes it way harder for attackers to get in.
All right, on to scenario number 2.
Hit me.
This time, it's poor Jamie, locked out of their account after a bunch of failed login attempts.
Oh no,
And
Jane.
guess what? The culprit is that mysterious, unfamiliar IP address again.
Like a bad sequel.
Exactly. So first things first.
Let's verify the lockout status in Azure AD.
Same place as before. Users, then sign-ins.
Yep, once we confirm it's a lockout, we go to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center.
Got it.
We can unlock Jamie's account there and reset their password to get them back online.
I'm assuming we're not shouting the new password across the office, right?
Uh-huh.
Secure communication is key.
Absolutely. We don't want to undo all that hard work by being careless with passwords.
Good point.
Now is a good time to remind everyone about strong, unique passwords and using a password manager.
For sure.
But going back to Jamie's situation, this is where we can use conditional access policies.
Well, now, for those who aren't fluent in IT, what exactly are those?
Think of them as the rule book for who gets access to what and under what circumstances.
Okay.
It's all about setting up those if this, then that scenarios for users.
I see.
For example, if Jamie tries to log in from an unfamiliar location, we can automatically trigger MFA.
So even if someone guessed their password, they'd still need that second factor to get in.
Exactly.
So it's like a smart security system that adapts to the situation.
That's a good way to put it.
Love it. Okay, scenario number 3 involves our friends in HR.
What's up with HR?
They need a way to track if employees are logging in on time.
Like a digital time clock.
Exactly.
Good news is Azure AD can help with that.
Of course it can.
Remember those sign-in logs? They're gold for HR.
Right.
We can filter the logs in Azure AD for each employee and see exactly when they logged in.
And we can even export that data.
Yep, for a specific time frame and give it to HR.
So they have what they need for those time and attendance reports.
Exactly.
It's like having a silent observer keeping tabs on logins.
I like it.
No more punch cards.
But let's be honest, even the best HR teams need help sometimes.
Of course.
Which brings us to scenario number 4.
Okay.
Imagine a company just did a big merger,
Okay.
and they need to onboard, say, 500 new employees.
Yeah.
Manually creating accounts would be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's a lot of data entry.
That's where bulk user creation comes in.
I'm gonna need more.
It's like a superpower for IT admins. We create a CSV file with the essentials, name, email, department, etc.
Makes sense.
Upload it to Azure AD, and it does the work, creating all those accounts,
Then that.
assign the right licenses and Microsoft 365 access, and boom, onboarding is done.
That's what I call working smarter, not harder.
For sure.
Speaking of working smarter, scenario number 5 is all about security.
Okay.
Imagine a company that's had too many close calls with compromised passwords.
Oh,
They need to strengthen their defenses, make them rock solid.
sounds serious.
It is. The answer here is multi-factor authentication for everyone.
Okay, good plan.
In Azure AD, Under security, then conditional access, we can create a policy that requires MFA for everyone.
No exceptions.
Nope, we're talking that extra layer of verification, a code to their phone, fingerprint, or facial recognition.
Got it.
It seems small, but it makes a world of difference.
I agree.
So it's like adding a security blanket to the whole organization.
A good way to think about it.
Being proactive instead of reactive is a big theme here. But for now, let's switch gears a bit.
All right.
Imagine there's a contractor, Sam, whose account got disabled because of inactivity.
Okay.
Now the project's back on, and Sam needs access again.
What should we do?
Well, this one's a quick fix.
Oh.
Find Sam's account in Azure AD,
Okay.
enable it, and they're back in the game.
Sounds simple enough.
It is, but pay attention to the details.
Like what?
Double-check the account settings, permissions, and group memberships.
Makes sense.
You want to ensure Sam has the right access from the start.
No headaches later.
Exactly. Speaking of unwelcome surprises, let's talk about budgets.
Oh.
Scenario number 7 is all about Jamie, our IT manager.
Okay, what about Jamie?
They have to keep the company's Microsoft 365 E5 license usage in check.
No one likes going over budget, especially for software.
Right, so good license management is crucial.
So how do we do that?
Head to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center.
Okay.
Then under Billing, then Licenses.
Okay, I'm following.
There you'll find the License Usage Summary.
Nice.
This report shows how many E5 licenses are assigned.
So Jamie can stay on budget.
Exactly, it's like taking inventory.
Making sure you're not wasting resources.
And keeping track of what you have, essential stuff.
Totally agree.
But even the most organized IT departments deal with accidental deletions.
Oh no, it happens to the best of us.
Right. So in our 8th scenario, we have Jordan.
What did Jordan do?
They got a little click happy
Okay.
and accidentally deleted their own account.
Uh-oh, panic time?
Maybe. But luckily, Azure AD has a safety net. The deleted users list.
Okay.
You'll find it under Users in Azure AD.
Got it.
Find Jordan's account, hit Restore, and it's back.
Just like that.
Just like that. Access restored.
Hopefully they learn their lesson about double checking before hitting delete.
Hopefully. But what's great is that restoring from the list brings the account back with its old settings.
So no need to rebuild everything from scratch?
Exactly. Are you ready for scenarios 9 and 10?
Hit me with them. I'm hooked.
Okay, picture this. DEF Corp, a company with a global presence, wants to restrict access to their resources based on location.
Okay, interesting.
They want to prevent logins from, let's say, places known for cyber threats.
I see. How do we build this digital fortress?
Conditional access policies come to the rescue again.
Of course.
Back to security and conditional access in Azure AD.
Okay.
We create a policy with location conditions.
So we can include or exclude specific countries? Even IP address ranges?
Exactly. We could apply it to all users or just specific roles.
Even require MFA for login attempts from risky location.
That's right. It's like having a virtual security guard who checks your passport.
And only lets you in if everything looks good.
Exactly. And for those trying to sneak in from the wrong place, we hit them with MFA.
Nice. Okay, I'm ready for the final scenario.
All right, last but not least, ABC Corp wants to master detecting and responding to weird login behavior.
Sounds like a good goal.
Right, they've heard all the horror stories about unauthorized access.
And they want to stay ahead of the bad guys.
Exactly, so here's our plan.
Okay, I'm listening.
We unleash the power of Azure AD's identity protection feature.
That sounds intense.
It is. Under security, we enable the sign-in risk policy.
What's that?
Think of it as a really smart security system that learns and adapts.
Okay.
It can automatically trigger MFA for any login that seems suspicious.
Like what kind of suspicious?
Maybe it's coming from a new device or a location that doesn't match the user's habits.
Oh, gotcha.
And of course, we need to keep an eye on the system alerts so we can react quickly if anything truly shady pops up.
Makes sense.
It's like having a team of cybersecurity detectives working 24/7.
Analyzing login patterns and ready to jump into action.
Exactly. That's peace of mind right there.
I like it.
Wow, we've covered so much.
10 scenarios.
Each with its own challenges and solutions.
That we're just getting started.
There's always more to learn about these tools.
Absolutely. It's a continuous journey.
But for now, let's take a short break to catch our breath.
Oh.
When we come back, we'll dive even deeper into these scenarios.
Sounds good.
We'll pull out those key takeaways and share even more insights.
Can't wait.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Let's dig a little deeper into some of these scenarios.
Sounds good. There are always new things to learn about these tools.
Definitely.
And I'm sure our listeners want those practical insights.
Absolutely. Let's go back to Alex's situation with the suspicious sign-in.
Oh, right.
We talked about resetting their password and enabling MFA, right?
Right. Those are the crucial first steps.
But there's another tool we can use, revoking active sessions.
Oh, tell me more about this revoke sessions thing.
It's like hitting the kill switch on any sessions coming from that device or location.
So we're shutting down anything that's currently active.
Exactly.
Where do we do that?
In the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, find Alex's account, select revoke sessions, and boom, any active sessions are gone.
So it's like slamming the door shut and locking it from the inside, just to be extra safe.
Exactly.
Now, thinking back to Jamie's lockout,
Yeah.
we unlock the account and reset the password.
Right, but that's only part of the solution.
You're talking about the conditional access policy, right?
Yep.
It's about preventing those lockouts from happening at all.
Exactly. By setting up a policy that requires MFA for logins from strange locations,
Right.
we can really cut down on those brute force attacks that cause lockouts in the first place.
It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly.
Anticipating threats and putting up safeguards.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And that proactive mindset applies to so much of IT security.
It really does.
It's not just about cleaning up messes. It's about stopping them before they start.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, remember our HR scenario.
The one with tracking employee login times?
Yep, those Azure AD sign-in logs are great for more than just attendance.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What other insights can we get from those logs?
Well, Azure AD actually tracks each user's initial login time.
Interesting.
This can tell us a lot about work patterns, maybe even flag potential productivity issues.
So it's like a way to spot trends in employee behavior.
Exactly.
That can be really helpful for HR and managers.
Absolutely.
It's all about using data to make smarter decisions.
And improve efficiency.
Right. Now let's go back to that company onboarding 500 new employees.
After the merger.
Yeah, bulk user creation is a lifesaver there, but there's something important we shouldn't forget.
What's that?
It's not enough just to create the accounts.
Right.
We also need to give those new users the right licenses and access to Microsoft 365 apps.
Absolutely. It's all about a smooth onboarding.
Give them the tools they need from day one.
Exactly. It's like setting up a workspace before they even arrive.
Makes the transition much easier.
Now let's think about LMN Inc. and their quest for better security after those password problems.
Oh,
We talked about MFA, but there's something else about conditional access policies that's worth mentioning.
let's hear it.
One thing that's really impressive about those policies with MFA is that they work even if passwords are stolen.
So even if an attacker gets their hands on a password,
That extra layer of verification is still there.
it's not just about reacting to a breach,
It's about building security that can handle those attacks.
making your systems tougher.
Exactly. Resilient is the word.
Now, remember Sam, the contractor whose account we reactivated?
Yeah.
There's a crucial step when bringing accounts back online, especially after being inactive.
We talked about checking permissions and group memberships.
Right, but what else?
Licenses, we need to make sure the reactivated account has the right ones.
So if Sam needs access to specific Microsoft 365 apps,
We need to make sure those licenses are active.
it's like making sure the Wi-Fi password is up to date before a guest arrives.
Exactly. It's those little things that matter.
Now let's go back to Jamie and their license management mission.
Okay.
We talked about the license usage summary in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center.
Right, but there's more to license management than just cost control.
I'm sensing a theme here, looking beyond the surface for those hidden insights.
Exactly.
Tell me more.
Well, regularly checking your licenses can reveal a lot about how your company is using Microsoft 365.
Okay.
Are there licenses for inactive accounts?
Good question.
Are some users on the wrong license tier?
That makes sense.
These are the kind of questions license monitoring can answer.
So we can save money and use our licenses better.
Exactly. It's like a checkup for your Microsoft 365 environment.
I like that analogy.
Now, remember Jordan and that accidental deletion?
That was close.
We talked about the deleted users list as a lifesaver.
It is.
But there's something people often miss when rushing to restore an account.
What's that?
It's easy to just focus on getting the account back online,
Right.
but we can't forget about group memberships and licenses.
Of course.
When we restore from the deleted users list, those things aren't always restored automatically.
So we have to do it manually.
It often is a manual process.
And it's crucial to double check everything,
Absolutely, make sure all the pieces are back where they belong.
like putting a puzzle back together. No missing pieces.
Now let's revisit DEF Corp and their virtual fortress for location-based access.
Okay, their digital security is impressive.
We talked about conditional access policies to limit logins from certain places,
Right, specific regions or IP addresses.
but there's another layer we can add.
I'm all about layers of security. What's the next level?
Imagine this. Anyone trying to log in from a high-risk location,
Okay,
they're automatically asked for MFA.
so even if they bypass the initial checks,
They still face that extra MFA hurdle.
that's a great idea. Make it as hard as possible for unauthorized access to get through.
Exactly.
Now, let's finish with ABC Corp and their mission to master proactive threat detection.
They want to be ahead of the game.
Right, we talked about the sign-in risk policy in Azure AD.
Like they're all seeing eye.
Exactly. But here's a piece of advice.
Okay, what is it?
Don't just set it and forget it.
What do you mean?
We need to check the alerts the system generates. Yeah, that's how we stay ahead of threats and make sure the policy's working.
So it's not enough to just have the system in place.
Right, someone needs to be watching.
Like a security camera system.
Exactly.
Installing it is good, but if no one's looking at the footage...
Then not doing much good.
Right, these scenarios really show how important it is to combine technical skills with proactive thinking.
And a healthy dose of curiosity.
Well said, IT professionals need to be detectives.
Always learning, adapting, and finding those smart solutions.
To keep systems secure and users happy.
We've covered a lot in this deep dive,
It's a ton of information.
but there's always more to discover.
Of course.
We'll be back after a short break to share some final thoughts and insights.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've gone through 10 real-world scenarios.
Exploring the power of Azure Active Directory and Microsoft 365 Admin Center.
From suspicious logins to accidental deletions, we've seen how these tools help IT pros.
Tackle those daily challenges and keep their organizations safe.
It's incredible what these tools can do. It's like having a whole toolkit for managing users.
Securing data and keeping everything running smoothly.
We've talked about passwords, MFA, conditional access policies. It's a lot to absorb.
It is, but the key takeaway is the importance of layering your security approach.
What do you mean?
It's not about having one strong defense, it's about combining multiple layers of protection.
So you create a really resilient system
Exactly, like building a castle with walls, moats, and guard towers.
to make it super hard for attackers to get in.
Right, and the tools and techniques we've discussed today are those building blocks for that strong fortress.
So as we wrap up this episode, what's the one thing you want listeners to remember?
Be proactive. Don't wait for a security incident to happen before doing something.
Take action now.
Exactly. Get familiar with Azure AD and Microsoft 365 Admin Center.
Explore what they can do.
And start putting those security measures in place today.
Because it's easier to prevent a fire than put one out.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about memorizing technical steps.
It's about understanding why those steps matter.
Right. Why is security so important? Why is user management so crucial?
Once you understand the bigger picture,
The technical details become much clearer.
it's like learning a new language.
The more you practice,
The more fluent you become.
and soon you'll be troubleshooting Azure AD like a pro.
And remember, IT is always changing, so keep learning
Stay curious, stay engaged.
and never stop exploring new tools and techniques.
Who knows, maybe one day you'll be the expert sharing your knowledge with the world.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Azure Active Directory and Microsoft 365 Admin Center
We've uncovered practical solutions.
and learned about the importance of proactive security.
Remember to stay curious and keep exploring the ever-evolving world of IT.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.